everyone. Welcome to our coaching call for the 20th of October. Let me start the slideshow. Okay, fantastic. We're still talking about study management, right? I mean, we're talking about the TMF. Last week, we discussed the documents that are expected before the project starts. And then we're going to talk about the ones that are expected whilst the project is going on, from when it starts all the way to before the closeout process. There's similar documents, but there are new things that are going to be added. Then we're going to talk about Neville Goddard's The Power of Awareness with 25 Destiny. So during the conduct of the clinical trial, these are the documents that are expected in a nutshell. The investigator brochure, right? This is that document that is a clinical, technical type of document for the principal investigator, which links the clinical and non-clinical information about the investigational product. And then any revisions to the protocol. So when we started, we have the protocol, but now any revisions to the protocol, informed consents, written information, we have to make sure that we file it. So the rule of thumb here is that the initial documents that have been created, as they begin to change or they amend it, you have to make sure that all that information is filed. So because we need to have the most current information stored in these regulatory binders. So we're talking about filing all of that. Any regulatory authority information that has changed, CVs and licenses, if there's any changes, typically the rule of thumb is that for CVs, we keep them, for 2 years, and then we need an updated CV at least every 2 years. So that's usually the rule of thumb. Of course, if the investigator or sub-investigator is licensing other study staff members, right? If there are any changes to their certifications or licensing, we have to have the most current copy. Same thing with labs, right? The lab certifications have expired. We need to make sure that is actually filed. Same thing for the investigational product. The investigational product, any changes, any new products received, updating the logs, making sure that they're on time, monitoring visit reports, and that's more in the TMF, right? We talked about the trial master file, which is the main repository for all the documents across the trial, and then we have the investigator site file, where we have a subset of those documents that pertain to study conduct at the level of the clinical research site. Just to repeat that, great. Then we have informed consent, source documents, completed case report form, any corrections, any changes with the institutional review board or the central ethics committee. We have to make sure that it's actually filed. Safety, subject logs, subject enrollment logs, their ID log, investigational product accountability, the signature sheet, which is the delegation of authorities log or the delegation of duties log, has to be up to date. And remember that that's a document that is filed from when the study starts. Everyone is delegated on that log. And by now you should know this because you've been following this training. And then as there are changes, then there are changes to the log as well. Okay. Make sure all signatures are documented on there. And then any other tissue samples. So in a nutshell, that's what happened throughout the course of the study. The main takeaway is that the TMF that was created at study start is not just something that we do once and then we forget about it. We have to make sure that, if there are changes, then the most current version of those documents have to be found in this binder. Hope you guys got that. Let's dive into with 25, which is Destiny, by Neville Goddard. So what Neville says is that we're experiencing an infinite number of destinies because there is never any destination. My hope is that as you're going through this program, you're not thinking this is it. Once I take this program and I get into this industry, that's it. There are other levels, right? So your current destiny or destination is the launching pad for a new thing to come into your life. Then the other point that is made here, which I love, is that many things come into our lives that we're not even aware of. We are supposed to be deliberate creators, consciously creating what's happening in our lives. But many times we just kind of stumble into things, right? So the goal with all of this is that just as you're consciously coming into this program to become a clinical research professional in whatever sense that you want to, we want to consciously create our lives. The understanding of the cause of your experience and the knowledge that you're the sole creator of the contents of your life, both good and bad, not only make you a much keener observer of all phenomena, but through the awareness of the power of your own consciousness, intensify your appreciation of the richness and grandeur of life. Now, isn't that beautiful? When you are deliberately living your life and being aware that you're the creator of the contents of your life, then it makes your life more expansive. Because the reason why we are small and we're constantly in this, poor me one, I'm not good enough state, it's because I feel that I don't have any control. So if I don't have any control, then I retreat to my little corner because, the world is too much for me. But the richness and the grandeur of life, because you become more aware of it when you know that you are creating the contents of your life. Regardless of occasional experiences to the contrary, it is your destiny to rise to higher and higher states of consciousness and to bring into manifestation more and more creation of infinite wonders, regardless of occasional experiences to the contrary. Really, life is about contrast, regardless of all the challenges that we're facing. So long as your North Star is that I'm constantly going to evolve and grow and rise to greater awareness in my life, then you're going to create more and more infinite wonders. Okay. Now, actually, you are destined to reach the point where you realize that through your own desire, you can consciously create successive destinies. Talked about that. This destiny is the beginning of new destiny. So the power is in you. The power is not in some deity sitting up in the sky, where you're praying to and all of that stuff. This energy, God, life force, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter, the universe. Or if you don't believe in anything, your subconscious mind, the non-tangible aspect of yourself, whatever it is something that requires you to focus and use as a source of the next stage of your evolution. Evolution comes from the physical and the non-physical. If you only evolve based on the physical reality, then your evolution is limited. But if you evolve with the non-physical, which you cannot see, touch, taste, smell, you can't see it, right? Then think about how much you can actually expand. The study of these teachings with its detailed exposition of consciousness and the operation of the law of assumption is the master key to the conscious attainment of your highest destiny. The detailed exposition of your consciousness. What's an exposition? A detailed look, understanding, learning, studying of your consciousness and the operation of the law of assumption. That is the key to evolving to your highest destiny. So he ends it by saying, this very day, or this very moment, I would say, if you're listening to this, wherever you are in the world right now, this very day, start your new life. Approach every experience in a new frame of mind with a new state of consciousness. This program that you're taking, which has the potential to transform your life in a wonderful way, each day, bring yourself to it with a new understanding that the more that I absorb this information and the more that I know that I too can move forward in the way that I want to, then things must change for you. Assume the noblest and the best for yourself in every respect and continue therein. Make believe great wonders are possible. So I think that's the most beautiful statement to end here. Clinical trials are set up the same way. When we set up for a clinical trial, we are assuming the highest and the best, right? Sometimes we're so positive when we set up, right? We're like, yeah, we're going to enroll 5,000 patients across 160 countries. It's going to be an amazing project. We're going to start at this point. We're going to bring everybody together, have meetings. We're going to review the data. So we're very positive in the clinical trials industry because we always have hope that whatever product that we're studying will bring forth something incredible that's going to transform the lives of patients across this planet, right? So that's what you want to think. You assume the noblest and best for yourself and know that great wonders are possible for you. So those are our two things. We talked about the investigational side file audit and the TMF during the conduct of the study. What the expectations are. The big takeaway is that those documents are not frozen in time. You constantly have to review them and be aware of the changes across the whole project. So that way, you know what updates are needed and you can actually file them. Then we talked about your destiny, that your true destiny is thinking great wonders of yourself, adopting this law of assumption right? The power of awareness. That's what this was about. The power of your awareness, not somebody else's. The power of going deep within yourself and bringing forth something that you've never brought forth before. Taking something from your mind and spirit and bringing it forth into the world. Now you can go around and do hard work and kill yourself, right? We can do that, right? I mean, I've done it, pushing, hauling things, and then just becoming exhausted, when the best way is to start with your mind. I say success mindset, the brain, your spirit, visualization, affirmation, keeping your vibration high, not listening to the naysayers out there who are saying, oh no, it's hard to get into the clinical trials industry. Oh no, these things are not possible. I did it. Everybody who gets into this industry did not have experience before they started. So it is possible. Every principal investigator across this planet set up one clinical trial, and then they set up so many others. So everybody has a starting point, right? And if it's possible for them, it's possible for you. We are not hauling people from Mars or another planet. So that's what you want to think. Great wonders are possible for you. So I thank you guys, and I will see you next week. Surprise, we're starting something new and you're going to love it. Yes, you will. Okay, bye-bye.